How's it going, guys? I hope everybody's doing well and most importantly alive. This past week I got a package in the mail that I've been waiting for a while, and that is the DJI Mavic Air 2. I've been super excited about this drone, been looking for a drone for quite a while to add as an investment to my video business, but this is the one I settled on. So today I'm going to tell you the things that I'm impressed about on it, and a couple of things that I'm not impressed about that you may want to be aware of before you buy it. So let's get started. So first of all, my favorite thing about it so far probably is the flight time. It's 34 minutes max flight time, and I did not order the Fly More bundle. I only ordered the basic drone kit, so it only has one battery. The reason I didn't go with the bigger kit is because with 34 minutes in the air, that's usually enough time that I need to capture some footage to throw into the project that I'm making. I didn't buy this to make videos with. Not saying I'll never do that, but I bought this as an addition to my video business, to incorporate drone shots into my videos because I think it adds a lot of value to my content. So far, just trying this out, this is a really good drone for that. First off, the form factor is extremely small when it's folded up. It can fit in my camera bag with the remote and not take up a ton of space, and just having a tool like this in my camera bag along with my camera and everything is just awesome. Another thing I really like about this drone is the intelligence. DJI has really stepped it up on this drone compared to the Mavic Air 1, and I have had experience using the Mavic Air 1 on a number of projects. I don't own it, but I have used it on projects, and the intelligence on this thing versus that drone it's a huge difference. As you can see, it's got two sensors on the front, and if it'll still focus on the bottom, it's got two sensors on the bottom. This middle sensor looking thing is actually not a sensor, that's a light. I guess those are more sensors, and two sensors on the back. It doesn't have sensors on the sides, which is a little bit of a downside. Obstacle avoidance is great, and yeah, that's a lot of sensors on this drone. So yeah, very handy. Intelligence, I love it. This drone also has active track, where you can lock in onto a subject and track them from the side or from behind. I haven't really tried this feature out a whole lot yet, so I don't have much to say about that, but I think it's really cool that it has it. So DJI really is making this thing harder and harder to crash or lose. So it just gives me a peace of mind while I'm flying around an $800 piece of equipment that I'm not going to lose it or crash it as easily. As far as video quality, this drone does 4K at up to 60 frames per second and 1080 up to 240 frames per second. And the 240 frames per second I haven't even tried yet. That's extremely slow, and usually when I'm taking air shots, you're way up there, your movements are smooth, you're not usually going to need to slow it down anyway. So the slow motion features, I'm glad they're there, but I'm probably not going to be using them every day. I'm happy that they've improved the video specs as far as they are. It kind of makes me confident that it'll last into the future somewhat, but at the same time, I may not be utilizing them anytime soon. Now, what I am really happy about is the upgraded sensor size. This drone has a 1/2-inch sensor. Now, if you're not familiar with what that means, basically, the bigger the sensor, generally speaking, the higher quality that each pixel will be. You see, my phone shoots 4K at 60 frames per second, but it doesn't look nearly as good as my Canon Rebel SL2 in 1080 HD at 60. And this is because my Canon SL2 has a bigger sensor. There's more quality in each pixel than the compressed pixels that are shooting 4K out of my phone, because your phone has a tiny sensor. and it's just not big enough to take in as much light as a big sensor is. So generally speaking, the bigger the sensor, the better. So I'm really happy that they've incorporated a 1/2-inch sensor with this drone. This drone also takes 48 megapixel photos, which is awesome. I really am loving the results I'm getting out of the photography side of this drone as well. Okay, so now that I've told you a lot of the things I really like about this drone, can't really name them all. I really do love this drone, but there are a couple things I really don't like that you should probably know if you're considering getting this drone. First of all, fixed aperture. I didn't know about this until the drone was on the way. It wasn't a deal breaker for me, but I really do think it's kind of cheap that they fixed the aperture on this drone. I didn't check the aperture of the drone before I bought it. That's not something I'm usually looking for on a drone, is an adjustable aperture. I just assumed that was a given, but it is fixed, so it doesn't give you as much manual flexibility. And speaking of manual flexibility, the other thing I don't like about this drone is that it's kind of geared towards hobbyists. It's kind of geared towards, you know, people who just want to recreationally fly. Hobbyists, yeah, that's the word. And not as much professionals. Don't get me wrong, it's still a professional drone, but the way the app is set up and the way it's geared isn't as professional as I want it to be. So if you watched their demo video of this drone, you know, they're talking about the 4K video and the 8K hyperlapse and all that stuff is great. And then they say, well, what do I do with all these clips? Oh, here's an idea. You can edit them on the app, on your phone screen that's this big. You're gonna edit like an 8K hyperlapse on your phone screen. You're not gonna see what's going on. And then share them to social media. Like, they packed all this power into this drone and then they kind of dumbed it down. So I don't really like that. I wish they gave more manual control in the app. HDR video was something I was super excited about, but it turns out you can't do your manual camera settings while you're shooting in that mode. So you don't even have any control when it's shooting in HDR. You can lock the auto exposure, but you still don't have any control over what shutter speed you're shooting at or anything like that. Also, in order to change white balance, you have to go into the menu system to change it. Once again, that's just something that it seems simple. It's just one of those things that wouldn't be hard for them to change, but it's just not set up for manual control. But then again, it is really, really, really easy to pull out of my bag real quick, and I can have that thing up in the air within a minute. I mean, it is very simple and easy to use. So I see where DJI is coming from, but I do wish they had geared it a little bit more towards professionals than hobbyists. Something I really do like about this drone, even though the HDR video feature doesn't allow manual control, it does have a D-Cine-like picture profile for shooting video. And this is just a flat profile. It's kind of like log, but not quite. And it just allows you to retain more dynamic range and give you more flexibility while color grading. So this has been pretty handy. I've played around with color grading some of the clips I've got from it over the past few days, and I have really liked the results. So, you know, there's not as much flexibility as you would have shooting log by any means, but there is enough flexibility where you can match it to your DSLR footage or get a certain look without your picture falling apart. So I really do like that picture profile. So for being 8-bit video and no D-log or log of any kind, that D-Cine-like profile really helps you retain some of that dynamic range, and I am really impressed with the way it turns out and the results you can get from color grading that footage. As far as the remote goes, it's quite a bit bigger than the previous remotes of the Mavic Air 1 and some of the other Mavic drones. The other ones had these little things that folded out of the bottom and your phone went in the bottom. This one is a little taller and has this pop-up thing that holds your phone in the top. Now, I personally like having my phone in the top, and I don't mind it being bigger, but that just kind of comes down to your personal preference. Controls are pretty simple. It's got a home point, a home return button, the power button, and the joysticks. I wouldn't have minded if they had added some customizable buttons on here. They have one customizable button. Wouldn't have minded if they had added a few more features, but once again, this is kind of all you need. And it's got the toggle switch in the middle between tripod mode, which is really slow, and you're going to get really smooth results with that. Normal mode goes up to like 20-25 miles an hour, something like that. And then sport mode, that's my favorite mode right there. Sport mode goes up to 42 miles an hour, and I'm telling you, that is flying. Literally, I mean, it's flying. It sounds like a jet going by or something. It's fast, I'm telling you. The reason I really like sport mode is because if I want to get to where I'm going to shoot, you know, you got 34 minutes of flight time. Now, I think it might burn up faster when you're in sport mode. But then again, if you want to get to where you're shooting fast, you can zip over there, slow down, have time to compose your shot, and switch it into normal or tripod mode to do your actual shot, and then zip over to the next spot. And you can get a lot of footage that way with the 34-minute flight time. Also on the top, you got your toggle wheel for the gimbal, and then you got your photo/video mode. And then you switch between photo and video modes with this little button right here. Oh yeah, and the joysticks for it just kind of tuck in the bottom. They come out and they screw in. It's kind of nice. Keeps it nice and flat when you're storing it. So to wrap this all up, my final thoughts on the drone. I think this is a great drone. It has a lot packed into it. Even though it may not have all the professional features I want, they definitely have packed a lot of high quality professional features into it that I can utilize, and it suits my needs very well. I like that I can keep it up in the air for a long time and get all the footage I need. I like its versatility. It can do 48 megapixel photos or 4K videos or slow motion. It is quite the tool. You know, it's not just a drone. It's a drone with a gimbal on it with a camera attached to it that I can fit in one pocket of my camera bag. So at the end of the day, this is an amazing tool, and I can't wait to see what other kind of footage I can get out of this. And it comes in at $800, which is a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but for what it packs, I do think it's a great value for everything you're getting out of it. So anyways, that's all I've got for you today, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel if you like my content, if you want to see what I'm going to be doing with this drone in the future, and with videography in the future. I'm excited for what the future holds. So yeah, hope you like this video, and have a great day.